So today I'm going to show you how I built my first roller coaster. The first thing I did was find a nice flat area to put it, did a little work to flatten it out, and I put down the footprint of where I'm going to put the rails for the roller coaster. I think that's important so that we can make sure that it circles back on itself and we have an idea of where it's going to go up and where it's going to go down. So then the first thing to do after that is to put the actual frame of where it is going up and down. So this is where we're going to actually put the rails. One thing to be aware of when it's going up and down is for up, you have to do one up, two across, one up, two across. So there's a place for the power rails to go. So here's how it looks with all of the top framework of it done. And it looks sort of maybe kind of like a roller coaster, maybe not really yet. But I wouldn't want to ride that coaster. Let's put some supports on it. These support beams make it look like it won't fall down the first time somebody puts some weight on it. Of course, these are purely aesthetic, but again, in real life, there's gravity and it doesn't look right if it doesn't have the supports. So once you can put the supports however you think they should look to make it look right. And I'll just go around the track and put them in. So here's how it looks with all the supports on it. And it looks like it's not going to fall in the first time somebody blows on it or the first time gravity takes effect. So it doesn't really look much like a roller coaster yet, but at least it looks like some kind of structure. Next thing to do is to put the blocks that you can put the rails on. You can't put rails on fencing or on walls, even though they make really good base structures for a roller coaster. So at this point, we're just putting bricks on top of everything. Blocks of bricks on top of the whole thing. And when it's done, now it actually does kind of look like a roller coaster. There's definitely more stuff going on the top, and the supports are just there to hold it up. We can see that it is, in fact, looking a lot more like a roller coaster now. I think it'll be good. I like it. Next, it's time to put down the rails. Use mostly regular rails, but we have to use the powered rails every time we want to go up. So we need to replace this. You can only use the powered rails on flat surfaces, I've discovered. They can't be the ones that go up, and they can't curve. So that limits us a little bit, gives us some more engineering questions to deal with as we're working. So that's why we need it to be 2 over and 1 up. So we can have one power rail followed by one regular rail that is at the slope, then one power rail to make sure we keep going, then one regular rail to go up. And we can do that the whole way up to the top. Every roller coaster I've ever ridden starts off with a steep climb, and then after that it never gets quite so high again. I think mostly it's just following with its own gravity after that. We can go down much more steeply because we can go directly down without having to flatten out as we go. Notice that curves always have to be, yeah, that doesn't work. Curves always have to be flat because the curved pieces can't go up or down as they curve. So we need to do a little bit of rearranging when we find mistakes like that. But we can correct those while we're busy laying the track. So we'll finish laying the track and coming around doing that and fixing those mistakes at the same time. I think this is starting to come together. It's looking like a roller coaster. As we come around, oh, that looks like another spot where it's got a bit of a glitch that we'll have to fix. Sometimes the carts will go on the track when there's a drop in the track like that, and sometimes they won't. So it's important to fix that, just in case. There we go. And then our last step here is to make sure that the power rails are powered. You could put the power rails just on top of redstone blocks, But I really like the look of the coaster when the whole frame structure is made out of the same material. So I chose to use the red nether bricks for all this, and then put pieces of fencing next to it, and then to put the redstone torches on the fence next to it. Plus, I like the look of having the lights on the coaster itself. And in areas where there aren't very many lights, I may come back in later and add more lights just to look good. Coasters in parks usually are lit up so that they look fun at night. This also gives us one more chance to do last repairs on it if we find spots where the track has a drop that we didn't notice the first time around. But once we get all of this lit up and all of those are lit, we'll be ready to take a good look at it and test it out. There it is. Looks like a roller coaster. You may notice that over at the beginning of the coaster we have one unlit power rail, and that's to slow the minecart down so that we can get out of it, and that it's waiting there for the next people to get in. Here's that unlit one. And I think we're ready to give this a trial run. Here we go. So far, so good. Since we have to manually change directions of how we're facing, I prefer to do the roller coasters that have long straight stretches and just a few curves at a time, but mostly you're facing the same direction. Oh, it didn't quite stop enough, did it? Let's jump out and put one more not powered power rail in this area. That'll definitely slow the minecart down well enough. So let's try it again. Here we go. Up, up, up. Over, down. Whee! There's a cow on the track. Through and under. The track can cross back on itself as long as part of it's up high and part of it's down low. And there it is. The track worked just right. It stopped at the end. And the minecart is still waiting there for the next rider. And we have a roller coaster, complete with mushroom cows walking up and down it. There it goes. No more mushroom cows. Now all we have to do is repair the terrain around it.